Welcome everyone to Atmanexus. And today I am connected to my friend Jude, and he lives in Cambridge. And this is my first podcast where I have invited somebody to be a part of soul to soul conversation on my channel. And interestingly, the topic is such that everybody's experiencing it, reading about it, thinking about it. And yesterday, when I was on call with my friend Jude, so we were discussing about this topic, and then we thought, why not have a podcast on this? Many people might be having the same question. So, we are not here to teach, my dear friends. We are not here to provide any answers. We are simply here to explore a question about karma. What is karma? What goes around comes around. And when we hear the word karma, we often think of destiny, fate, rewards, punishments, and consequences. So I don't feel it is something happening outside us. What if karma is the movement of mind itself? So I would introduce you to my friend Jude, and his full name is Jude Ashkin. He lives in Cambridge, London. And I want Jude to give a brief about himself and our friendship. Welcome, Jude, to the podcast.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you, Siddharth. I'm very happy to be here. Yes, an introduction about me. So, firstly, like Siddharth and like everyone listening, I'm on my own spiritual journey. I am trying to navigate life on planet Earth in the best way I possibly can. And I'm extremely curious about life, about spirituality, about what is the purpose of life? What is my purpose? Why am I here? How has society reached this point? All of these things interest me and fascinate me massively. And over the last number of years, my life has changed very much. And for the last 5 years or so, I've been working with people in movement. But for the last 2.5 years, I've been also helping people deepen their awareness and connect to themselves through movement, breathwork, meditation. And I love helping other people connect to themselves more deeply and become more aware. And I met Siddharth in India, and we became good friends very quickly. I've had many conversations and inquiries and beautiful experiences together. And what really unites us is our deep fascination and curiosity for life and our desire to explore, expand, create, and fundamentally help other people connect to themselves and find meaning and fulfillment in their lives.
I really feel a deeper connection with you whenever we talk about such topics. Let's begin with today's podcast. And our topic is our karma is our mind. So, Jude, when you hear the statement karma is a mind, what arises within you? What do you think about karma? And is it just the mind? Is it happening outside the body? Or somebody is keeping record of what are our doings and then gives us the reward or punishment accordingly?
Our karma is our mind. From my lived experience, I believe that karma is within us. There's no external person or thing keeping score. It's something that we carry within us, and that we experience it through thoughts and feelings. And our karma is our mind. What I've been really looking at myself the last few weeks is, are all of my thoughts a byproduct of my past karmas? And I sort of see that as I close some karmic loops or become more aware of my karma, my thoughts change. For example, if as I become a more peaceful person, it is like the thoughts that arise in my
Mhm.
field of consciousness are changing. I think as my karma evolves, the thoughts that I experience are evolving as well.
Yes, I completely agree with you because I feel sometimes I feel karma is not an event itself. It is something we create in our mind slowly, and we are bound by it. The same event can create wisdom in one person and bitterness in the other. So, karma is something we are giving it to ourselves. Perhaps it is not an event, but just an interpretation. So, nobody's actually keeping the record, but it's you, your higher self, telling you what you did wrong.
And there is a
So,
record kept within us. There is a
yes,
record. The record of our
yes,
karma manifests in our body and mind.
yes, absolutely. And do you feel that karma is often misunderstood by most of the people?
Oh, absolutely. In myself as well. I'm not coming in this conversation claiming to be an expert on karma. Not by any means. Like, part of me wanting to have this conversation is I want to deepen my own understanding of karma. I think we spent 6 months or so together in India. What I realized is that actually, the more I learn about karma, the less I realize I understand this, because it is so complex and multidimensional. And it's a bit like a video game. As you go up the levels, it becomes more complex, more advanced, more multidimensional. And I think most people, like I'm living in England at the moment, look at karma in such a reductionistic way that it is
Mm,
simply external cause and effect. Whereas I think that it's more complex than that.
yes, it is indeed. So, can karma be understood psychologically rather than cosmically?
Good question.
Like,
Right now, I don't know the answer to that.
okay. So, what do you feel? Is karma happening to us or within us?
Within us.
It is happening within us. Can you give me an example? Like, what do you feel about it?
Yes. So, for an example, when I'm making decisions, I want to be aware of what my intentions are behind my chosen action. For example, am I giving to somebody because my heart is singing for me to give to them, and I just feel love and compassion and want to give love and kindness to this person? Or am I giving to this person because I want something in return?
Beautiful, beautiful example. I completely second you because our intentions are more important. If I also feel the same because when I generally read Bhagavad Gita every day, and Krishna often says, if you have a good reason to do something, then that act cannot be bad at all. And when I sit with myself sometimes, there are a lot of questions which keep popping up, like, can memories become karma or not? As we were talking yesterday, can childhood experiences continue shaping our adult life, or are we really seeing the present moment or seeing the past projected onto the present? So what I when I was talking to you yesterday about it, I was thinking, because whatever we talk, it goes on in our mind, like in subconscious mind. So I often wonder whether karma is simply the past surviving through the mind. It is surviving there, it is there. Or like, if an event is over but continues affecting years later, isn't that karma operating through memory?
Maybe it's not through memory, maybe it's through conditioning and
Yes.
conditioning, programming, habit, whatever language you want to use to describe it. I think they're all kind of pointing towards the same things. So, like, an example I can give you that's like relevant to my life right now is after I came back from my travels, I was away for 6 or 7 months. I came back to England, and I've experimented with going back to some of the things that I used to do in the past. For example, I've been and done some fishing, which is something I loved through my childhood. And I realize now that it was never about the fishing, but for me, going fishing was very soothing and calming for my body
Mm,
and mind. So I formed this belief around that I love fishing. But I didn't love fishing. I loved how fishing made me feel, right? And it's like now that I've gone back to fishing, I can actually kind of see how ludicrous just fishing for pleasure is. And I can see that actually I have no interest in fishing. It is just that my mind, throughout my childhood, became conditioned to make me want to go fishing.
Interesting.
And we could look at examples of this like with food, right? So if I grew up in Italy and I grew up eating pasta and pizza, right? And that was what I grew up eating. My mind is conditioned to want those foods because that is what I've survived on. So to move to a new country and to adapt to eating completely different foods will challenge my mind, right? And I think that feeds into what you were saying about, is our karma just our past? Or the past blocking us from accessing the present moment?
Right. Absolutely.
And we could say, and I see this a lot in myself and in other people with our friendships and relationships, if people have a lot of past friends that they are carrying with them, it limits their ability to make new friends in the present. Our past relationships, our past responsibilities, our past obligations, if we keep carrying them with us, all of those, our past habits, all of those things limit our ability to live and be and act in the present moment. Because it's like, if I had have been surrounded by and just spoken to my old friends, for example, say when we met in Rishikesh, if I just spoke to my old friends, I wouldn't have had any opportunity to meet a new friend in you.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like it's like dropping some parts of the past in order to live in the present and see and cherish what the divine offers us in present and future. We have to drop the baggages sometimes.
Yes, I can give a very crude example, right? I've got 2 yoga blocks here, one in each hand. If I want to pick something else up with my hands, I have to put one of these down, right?
Yes.
If I want to pick up something new, I have to put something down first. And I think this is going to be quite a funny example, but what a lot of people are trying to do is they've got both their hands are full because from the past that they're carrying with them. So then if they want to pick up something new or start something new, whatever it be, a new relationship, a new habit, a new hobby, doesn't matter. They're trying to pick it up with their mouth or with their feet. They're trying to pick it up off the floor with their teeth because they're not willing to put something down from their hands.
And I want to all the people who are just listening to this podcast, I just want to clear, Jude and I are actually not trying to say that leave your old friends or leave the things. We are just trying to say that open doors for new possibilities. Don't just stop yourself at one place that I don't need more people, I don't need more things, I'm contented. Because if divine or the energy or the universe has to offer you something new, you have to open your doors to it. Without that, you cannot just allow yourself to experience life. If I'm not wrong, Jude.
Yes, I totally agree with what you said. And it's about not becoming closed. It's about not closing your heart, not closing yourself off to new relationships, new opportunities, new experiences, new habits, new foods, new ways of being, new ways of thinking. It's about like being open to everything.
Yes.
And not necessarily taking everything in, but being open. And it's like having your heart open, then things flow to you, right? If your heart is closed, you can't give love, and you also can't receive love.
You can't receive love. Absolutely. Now, what a beautiful example you've given. And moving further with the topic, you might have heard of the desires we have. So, do you feel are desires the seeds of karma, or can fear itself be karma? And or do you if you ask me, perhaps people can possess the same thing. Two people can possess the same thing. One enjoys it, and other becomes psychologically dependent upon it. So I feel the object is not the problem. the attachment to the object is. What's your take on this?
Yes, yes, I love this. I realized something like a couple of years ago, just randomly, and it's kind of what you just said, that it is never the thing that is the problem. It is my relationship with the thing that creates problems for me. For example, a glass of wine is not that bad. If you have one glass of wine, it's nothing terrible. But if you have three bottles of wine for an extended period of time, it's going to be very detrimental and very destructive to your health and to your life in many ways. It's the same thing as I have a glass of water here. I have a glass of water here. This glass of water is very good for me. It's nourishing. It quenches my thirst. It allows my body to survive. But if I drink too much water, it can make me sick. If I drink way too much water, I can die. If I put my face in this cup, or I could drown in this cup of water, right? It's not about the thing. It's always about our relationship with the thing. And I like what you said about not becoming dependent on something, like being able to enjoy something, but then to just leave it and be completely unattached to the thing. And I think that karmic bondage is when you become attached or identified to anyone or anything.
Interesting. Like I completely second the idea of non-attachment, because it creates a state of equanimity in you. Like no matter you're surrounded by sorrow or happiness, your state of mind remains the same due to non-attachment to it. So the object is not the problem. You're right.
Yes, the object is never the problem. It's like a knife. A knife is an inert object. A knife cannot pick itself up and stab somebody, right? A knife only becomes dangerous in the hands of a human being, right? You can use that knife to cut up vegetables to nourish your body, or you can use that knife to inflict harm on another being. And we could come up with these examples all day, right?
Yes.
But what we're trying to stress is it's never the object, it's never the thing, it's our relationship with the thing.
Perfect. Right. When I was thinking about it, so yesterday I just wrote down whatever came to my mind, and there was a series of questions which came. Like, I just want to know what you think about this. Do you feel karma actually requires a doer? And when sages, but if I see the wise sayings, they said you are not the doer. Then if I think further, can actions happen without psychological ownership? Who is creating karma then? So this was a chain of thoughts I had yesterday.
Well, if karma is our mind, surely karma then can only be created or destroyed through our mind. Because like the awareness, the self that is just awareness and pure consciousness is a separate entity from our karma. The self, the true self, is beyond our karmas. But it's a great question. It's a great question of where do our actions come from? Or if we have an awareness that we have past karma, we have an awareness of the karma, but then how do we interact with our karmas? How do we change our karmas? How do we close certain karmic loops? Who or what is the doer? I think it's a really interesting thing to explore.
Yes, we really, because people only know about Bhagavad Gita. There is one book known as Ashtavakra Gita, and when we finish, when we are on the end part of the podcast, I'll share a reflection on that, because if I speak about it right now, it won't make sense. So, but just here, I would just say, the mind always tells us, I did this, I failed, I achieved this. But when we look deeply, so much of life simply unfolds. Who is I? Are you actually doing it? And who is I? This body, this clothes, this name, this achievement? Then who exactly is the doer? If you say I am experiencing, then how can you be the doer? So this is, I think, a food for thought for
Yeah.
many of the people. And
And
they have just given simple statement to themselves, I am doing this, so I am facing this. Nobody wants to go deeper because it makes them, think, read, and explore. And people are having like shortage of time all the time.
yes, and like part of the practice of yoga is non-attachment, right? And that also
Yes.
includes non-attachment to the sense of I. And the less
Mm.
attachment we have to our sense of I, and the sense of that I am the doer and that I am in control of my life and my future, the more we
Mm.
let go of that attachment to I, the more the fear of the mind just naturally dissolves away. It's an effortless process. Maybe there is no
Yes.
doer in that process because it's effortless.
Yes.
It's like in a state
Yes.
of in a state of true meditation, there is no effort.
So, Jude, what do you feel about now? Since I was asking you, who is the doer then? Can karma happen without the doer? So, the next question I have in my mind is awareness, which we talk about most of the time. So, do you feel can awareness have karma, or can consciousness be conditioned?
I don't believe that consciousness can be conditioned.
Hmm.
And I don't believe that we ever become more conscious. I believe that we just become more connected to consciousness. Thinking that I am becoming more conscious, I'm becoming a more conscious human being, and being like really driven and motivated about it to become more conscious. Whereas now
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like look back at that past version of myself and think, I kind of smile and laugh because I actually realize that that is just like ego wanting to become more conscious. Whereas as everything that I'm not falls away slowly, as we let go of all of the things that we are not, we naturally become more conscious. But I think, and I'm just expressing this in language, obviously the language is not the thing.
Mm-hmm.
As we become freer of what we are not and less burdened, we naturally become more conscious. Or we become more conscious beings because we are more connected to the collective consciousness, the universal consciousness. The less blocked we are, the more universal consciousness is able to flow through us and manifest through
So,
our
so
body and mind.
So we are just removing the clouds slowly to become the
Yes.
sky, clear
Yeah.
sky.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Interesting. So I feel like perhaps karma is not a punishment at all. It is not a reward also. It is simply the past living through the mind sometimes, or the mind creating its own problems and then later giving the solutions. And I feel perhaps the freedom begins the moment we become aware of the process, not to fight the mind or not to suppress the mind, just to understand it and let the thoughts pass through it. What's your take on this, Jude?
Yes, I love this conversation. Well, I think that trying to suppress the mind or trying to control the mind or manipulate what the mind is thinking is all done through the mind. I
Hmm.
really don't believe that the journey towards awareness and to consciousness is achieved through mental effort. To me, consciousness and the mind are separate things. If I'm just aware of my mind and the thoughts circulating for long
Mhm.
enough, eventually the mind will go quiet. Or
Hmm.
practices like chanting or being in nature. You do that for long enough, the mind goes quiet on its own accord. It's like you can't make the mind go quiet just by sitting there getting angry with your mind. Or it's a bit like I don't like in nature there's no force, right? There's no effort. The
Yeah.
sun comes up and goes down effortlessly every day. The birds are not trying hard. They're not trying to fly, they just fly. So I believe that our relationship with ourselves is very much the same. We are trying to get our body and mind back to being a smooth, fluid, integrated part of the whole. And that it's like trying to control the mind through mental effort is like trying to beat darkness out of the room with a baseball bat. Whereas if you just turn the light on, the metaphorical light is consciousness. When I see
Right.
people get themselves into such a state trying to change their mind through mental effort or just rigid discipline, whereas that's actually just making the mind even stronger.
Interesting. So, Jude, I really went deeper into the topic. So, if I ask you to conclude your understanding of karma and karma being a mind, what do you have to say in the end as a conclusion to this topic?
So I said earlier in the conversation, it is never the external thing that is the problem. It is our relationship with the thing. And now I can see that this is also true with our mind. Our mind is not a problem. Our relationship with our mind is the problem that leads to us to suffer. It's like in yogic teachings, 99% of misery and suffering is a result of ourselves. It's self-created. And the other 1% of suffering is from suffering caused by other beings or suffering caused by natural disasters. But once the event is over, the suffering we experience, we are creating within ourselves. Identification with my mind has caused me to suffer so much, still causes me to suffer every single day, right? It's like I experiment on myself all the time. So I'll go for a walk in nature, say I've got a completely free day, use this as an example, where I've got nothing on whatsoever, and I'm just saying I'm going to go out and I'm going to go on a beautiful hike and I'm going to enjoy the nature, and I have no stress, no obligation, nowhere to be, just at one with the nature. Throughout that day, I have a really smooth walk, my body's fine. The only thing that will create suffering for me is my mind. Comparing, judging, creating problems, making myself busy. And I almost see that being in nature is like a blank canvas. And it becomes so obvious. Everything around me is still. Everything around me is calm and peaceful and just as it is. All of the suffering I'm experiencing on this walk, I'm creating within my mind. To me, once I started to see that, I realized the battlefield is within me. The battlefield is not out there. The battlefield is not outside. My journey to peace, equanimity, salvation is through quietening and mastering my body and mind.
So beautifully you have summed up everything with an example. And like you said, battlefield is within us. That's what's written in all the scriptures, if you read properly. From the perspective of teachings of the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Ashtavakra Gita, it's often said the root cause of karma is the sense of doership. I want this, I don't want that, this is mine, I did this. So karma, the moment you start thinking this way, karma begins to accumulate. And the sages, they pointed towards one thing, that the self is actionless. It is the mind which is actually acting. The mind acts, it desires, it remembers, it judges, and it suffers in the end. Whereas if I talk about your consciousness, it is just the witness. So when you identify with the mind, you become the doer and experiencer of karma. And when you rest as the witness, thoughts still arise, actions still happen, but the psychological burden of karma begins to dissolve. And I'm not saying that you should become inactive. It means acting without psychological attachment. And I feel this solves most of our problems. Like if somebody insulted us, so if the mind holds on to it for days, karma continues. And if the mind just observes it, lets it pass, and does not build a story around it, the chain ends then and there. So I feel karma is not only what happens outside, it is the mental residue carried inside. So it is actually the mirror, the memory, and in the end, by all the discussions we had, I would just say it is actually the mind. Rather than something happening by the body, it is the mind which is the karma. And which it shapes our perceptions, choices, actions, and future experiences. So, if you read, like if you get a chance, I'm talking to everybody, like you also, Jude. If you ever get a chance to read Ashtavakra Gita, he pointed out one thing very important. The problem is not the action. The problem is the belief that you are the actor. So the moment the witness is recognized, the entire understanding of karma changes. So in the end, there is a question that if every thought, emotion, and desire is being observed, then who is the observer? What do you have to say on this?
Your words bring me to like a natural state of meditation, a natural state of silence. I don't have any words.
I can feel you. I feel the answer to something I asked in the end, that like if every thought, emotion, and desire is being observed, then who is the observer? And I feel the answer takes us beyond karma, and it takes us into deep self inquiry, because everybody is going to have a different aspect and answer to this question. And that is where the journey also begins. And many of the things are understood by the person just listening to this and observing this.
Yes. And I just wanted to add one thing about what you were saying about karma, is like our body is a figment of our mind, and the body is downstream of our mind. Our body is being created all of the time based off of the decisions that our mind makes. So the foods that we eat, or the foods that our mind decides that we're going to eat or not eat, literally is what is making up the physical tissue of our body. Or if, when people have, say, pain in their body, knee pain, the actual root cause of that is in the mind. If your mind is peaceful and in equanimity, part of the foundation of having a peaceful, stable mind is having a stable body. And it is a priority of the mind to have a stable, aligned, healthy body, right? So people look at people may say that it's karmic, that they're experiencing chronic illness. And it may well, their chronic illness, a lot of the time, is a result of their mind. And that is then part of their karma. But the way it is solved is not by treating the body, it's actually by working with the mind.
Yes, that's a beautiful example to understand karma. And Jude, I sometimes feel we are the ones who complex things, whereas life is quite simple. We are always running after the mysteries to know why, this, go deeper. Like simply just experiencing life and having an awareness of your actions and what you eat, what you consume in terms of thoughts, food, makes you live a healthy life.
Yes, awareness, consciousness is such a powerful force. It is life-changing in every way. And the more you identify as awareness or exist as awareness and observing your body and mind just as a part of everything, just through that switch in identification, your whole life will transform. Like
Absolutely.
As a byproduct of that internal shift. And it's an invisible shift. And it's not, and this is why it's hard in modern society, is because it's not a shift that you get any accolades for. You're not getting patted on the back for it. It's not necessarily going to bring you short-term results that other people are going to validate and recognize. It's an internal transformation, and the prize is within. there isn't necessarily an external end to the goal. Well, there isn't an external end to the goal. The journey is within, and the transformation is only experienced within you. Downstream, down the line, other people will see it, but they will never understand. It's a journey beyond the ego, because the ego dissolves, or more and more throughout this journey of inner transformation. Like the more you live as awareness, the more silly the idea of the ego becomes.
Well, we started with a very simple question, and I'm amazed to where it landed. So I feel the greatest spiritual question is not what is my karma, but it should be like, who am I beyond the mind that carries karma?
Yes, who am I?
Yes.
Who am I is a timeless question. And this is what yoga and spirituality take you on a journey of, is exploring this question and exploring it from different angles and having different experiences which point you towards the truth. And the truth cannot be conveyed in words, in language. The truth can only be experienced and felt and lived and embodied. As soon as it is words, it's then put up to the other person, the listener's interpretation.
Right.
And because we all have a different perspective, the words are greatly limited in their effectiveness. Because somebody who has had these spiritual experiences and is experiencing living as the universe, as consciousness, they can say everything. They can tell people all of the answers to all of their problems. But the person listening, if they are listening as their mind, these problems and solutions, the solutions exist in a realm beyond the mind. And if you're trying to understand trying to understand awareness and consciousness with the mind, you will never understand it. You will just get deeper and deeper and more entangled in the mind.
I'm simply amazed to where we landed from the conversation. And your insights, like it has actually taken me to a different state altogether. And I think we can end the conversation here today and meet next time in another podcast. You have something to add, Jude?
No, this has been perfect.
It's perfect. Like I'm simply just experiencing the silent state of my mind right now. And in the end, I would just say, if karma is mind, then perhaps freedom is not about changing our destiny. Perhaps freedom is understanding the machinery of the mind itself. We just have to lift the veils slowly and find the true self, which is changeless. So thank you, Jude, for taking out time and being a part of this podcast. And I would love to have future conversations with you, because this series, I'm just dedicating it to soul talks with you. And I want more people to join us and share their experiences. And as you know, our aim is to form a conscious community in the world. We can just do our part by not keeping much expectations. But yes, a conscious community is going to really bring about a big change in the world.
Yes. To awaken people to the light within themselves.
Yes. Sometimes the talks are so powerful.